Today's case is one of the most extraordinary and unsettling stories you'll ever hear. What makes it so unique is that it remains the only known instance in India where a judge was sentenced to death and executed. This is the chilling account of the Rajkhowa family. The story begins in Assam, a northeastern state in India. Within it lies the district of Dhubri, home to an old abandoned bungalow that once belonged to the RSN and IGN shipping company. Eventually, the government took over the property and repurposed it as a residential quarters for judges and legal staff. In 1969, Upendra Nath Rajkhowa was appointed as a judge at the District and Sessions Court in Dhubri. Initially, since the bungalow wasn't available, he stayed at the government circuit house. Once it became vacant, he moved in. Upendra Nath had often been transferred from one post to another, so he was used to living alone, leaving his family behind. But this time was different. This was to be his final transfer before retirement, so he brought his family with him. His wife Putuli and their 3 daughters, Nirmali, Jonali, and Rupa, joined him in Dhubri. While Upendra Nath moved between postings, the family lived in a rented house in Guwahati, close to Puli's sister, who offered them support. But with retirement near and the prospect of a stable home, the family reunited under one roof. Their move coincided with the Durga Puja holidays, a time of celebration and joy. The family embraced their time together, creating new memories and enjoying the warmth of reunion. Eventually, Jonali and Rupa had to return to Guwahati to resume their studies. Life in the bungalow quieted down, but Upendra Nath, Putuli, and Nirmali continued their peaceful routine. Then, without warning, tragedy struck. One day, both Putuli and Nirmali vanished. Upendra Nath was thrown into panic. He searched everywhere, asked everyone, but there was no trace of them. As he grappled with their disappearance, another devastating blow came. Jonali and Rupa, who had rushed back to Dhubri to support their father, also vanished. The once happy home fell into eerie silence, now gripped by unimaginable sorrow. 2 months later, on April 15, 1970, Judge Upendra Nath Rajkhowa himself disappeared. If an ordinary neighbor vanishes, people wonder and speculate various reasons. But when a high-ranking sessions judge and his entire family go missing, the questions multiply. After some brief concern, the community moved on. However, Puli's sister and her husband, Bharata Sharma, were deeply worried. They had not heard from the family in almost 2 months. Every attempt to contact them failed. Alarmed, Bharata, who held the position of Deputy Inspector General of Police, took matters into his own hands. Bharata traveled to Dhubri and began questioning those who worked at the bungalow, but no one knew where the judge had gone. With the help of local police, he launched a full-scale investigation. Despite exhaustive efforts, no solid leads emerged. The complete disappearance of a judge and his family was unprecedented. Investigators considered multiple theories. Perhaps individuals affected by the judge's past rulings were involved. 2 months later, in June 1970, a breakthrough came. Staff at the Dhubri court revealed that Judge Upendra Nath had been spotted in Siliguri. Bharata Sharma and the police rushed there. Before disappearing, Upendra Nath had told Sharma over the phone that he planned a trip to Darjeeling with his family. Since he retired in February, Sharma thought they might have extended their vacation. But when they inquired at the hotel, they were told something strange. Upendra Nath had been living there alone for the past 2 months. Confused and alarmed, Sharma went to his room. When Upendra Nath answered the door, he was shocked to see his brother-in-law standing there instead of hotel staff. Bharata immediately asked him about his family. Upendra Nath claimed they were in Darjeeling, but when Sharma suggested they go visit them, he refused. Sensing something was wrong, Sharma pressed him further. Finally, Upendra Nath, overwhelmed, said, "How can I tell you?" Sharma handed him a paper and pen. What Upendra Nath wrote was devastating. "They are no more in this world." The police were stunned. When questioned further, Upendra Nath chose to write instead of speaking. His written confession revealed that one day, his wife had slipped and fatally hit her head. Their eldest daughter, distraught over her mother's death, consumed a large number of sleeping pills and died. Panicked and unsure of what to do, Upendra Nath hired some local laborers to dispose of the bodies in the Brahmaputra River. Then, upon hearing the news, Jonali and Rupa, unable to bear the pain, ended their lives by jumping into the same river. The police were skeptical. The events sounded too convenient, the details too improbable. But they listened and asked him to repeat everything before a magistrate. As they prepared to take him for official questioning, Upendra Nath asked to change his clothes. He closed the door behind him. Moments later, horrifying screams erupted from inside the room. The police broke down the door and found Upendra Nath on the floor, a knife embedded in his stomach. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Under the bed, police found a handwritten note. "My wife and 3 daughters are no longer alive. There is no reason for me to live." With Upendra Nath unable to speak, the police restarted their investigation back in Dhubri. They interviewed everyone, servants, friends, and staff. They combed through the phone records between Upendra Nath and Sharma. Piece by piece, a clearer picture emerged. After moving into the bungalow, Upendra Nath had seemed happy, spending time with his family and taking them out often. To outsiders, they looked close and content. Then, a curious detail surfaced. One day, Upendra Nath instructed his servants to cut down a tree near the bathroom because its branches were scraping the wall. He later asked them to remove the tree completely, leaving a large pit behind. What they found next would shake the town to its core. The investigation turned its focus to the pit left behind after the tree was removed. Police suspected it might hold critical evidence, so they began digging. What they uncovered was horrifying. First, they found a white cloth. As they dug deeper, the unmistakable stench of decay hit them. Soon after, human remains surfaced, bodies in varying stages of decomposition. Not 1, not 2, but 4 bodies. They were all female. Based on clothing and belongings, police identified them as Putuli, Nirmali, Jonali, and Rupa, Upendra Nath's wife and daughters. So what really happened? All of Upendra Nath's earlier explanations turned out to be lies. The tragic accidents and suicides were fabrications. In truth, he had murdered his entire family. On the evening of February 5, 1970, while everyone was asleep, he took an axe and killed his wife, Putuli. Then he went to Nirmali's room and bludgeoned her with the same weapon. The next morning, as Jonali and Rupa came downstairs, he attacked them one by one and ended their lives too. He kept their bodies hidden for 3 days before digging a pit in the backyard, under the pretext of removing a tree, and buried them together. When asked why, Upendra Nath confessed something shocking. He had been struggling with mental health issues, anxiety, and paranoia. He believed that after his retirement, his daughters might be exploited or harassed in society. Rather than live with that fear, he convinced himself that killing them was a form of protection. In his mind, he was saving them. A man who had spent his entire life delivering justice had now committed the most heinous injustice of all. This case became one of India's most talked about crimes. The idea that a judge, someone trained to uphold the law, could commit such calculated murders shook the legal community to its core. Eventually, the court found Upendra Nath Rajkhowa guilty on all counts. His detailed confession, the discovery of the bodies, and the timeline of events left no room for doubt. He was sentenced to death. Years later, in 1974, he was hanged. He remains the only judge in India to have ever been sentenced to capital punishment. This haunting case reminds us that no amount of status, education, or intelligence can shield someone from the depths of the human psyche, and that sometimes the darkest secrets lie behind the most respected faces. His case serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of the human psyche and the potential for darkness even in those entrusted with upholding justice. And that was the video, guys. Do let us know what you thought of it. If you know any such twisted real-life cases, please comment below, and we will try to cover those in our next videos. Please like, share, and subscribe for more such videos ahead. Thank you for watching.